Hi, Aletha here with Create Your Future. Let you know that Create Your Future is still giving away a free course, How to Find Your Blocks to Manifest Anything Fast. Also, I have courses and they're on sale, 10% off, and all of my coaching is 20% off right now. And that lasts until the end of March. I want to talk today about revision. And I want to do it using a lot of Neville Goddard's teaching and his and some quotes from him. And one of the things that he says in the very beginning, it is a most healthy and productive exercise to daily relive the day as you wish you had lived it. In other words, living it according to what you would have desired it to be, as opposed to what it actually turned out to be. Revising the scenes to make them conform to your desires. For instance, suppose today's mail brought disappointing news. Revise the letter, mentally rewrite it, and make it conform to the news you would have liked to have received. Then, in imagination, read the revised letter over and over again with feeling. This is the essence of revision, and revision is the results in repeal. And so if you have difficulties going on in your life and things that are hard to face and deal with, you can revise them so that they're not repeated in the future. Or if you have past hurts and that need healing, one of the best ways to do that is to revise it, to change it from what it was in your mind to what you would have liked it to be. So you imagine in your mind that scene the way you want it to be. You don't have to go back and relive the awful scene. You know what it was. But all you have to do is know that this was not what I wanted, and know what you do want. And then instead of playing itself out with all the negative stuff that hurt you and cause trauma in your world, you simply see it the opposite. A situation could be of a child and a parent, and the parent treated the child unjustly. The parent was abusive perhaps. And instead of going back and feeling all the emotions and reliving that painful experience, that trauma, what you can do is, you know the trauma already, so you know what you would have desired it to be. What the opposite is, you already know that. So you don't have to go back and relive it. All you have to do is take that situation in time, the time that it was, which is always in the now anyway, because right, everything is happening simultaneously. Nonetheless, there you are. Now you're in that situation again, but this time in your imagination, you're rewriting the whole thing. And so instead of the child being treated unfairly, the child is being treated with love and compassion and kindness and understanding. And it is from a parent who is loving and gentle and kind with soothing words, right? As opposed to any of the negative stuff that may have occurred. And the child then feels whole. The child feels loved. The child feels needed and wanted and desired and valuable. How many people say that the things in their past have created the horrible stuff in their future, and what they're experiencing now? If we revise it, we're not going to repeat that stuff. It's really repeating. If you had a bad situation and you were told you were worthless, then you repeat that over and over and over. If it's become a vow inside of you that I'm worthless because so-and-so did this to me a long time ago, or they repeatedly did this to me in my past as a child. Now you feel worthless. Well, go back to that moment in time. And I always have trouble with that, because in that moment in time is really now. It's all simultaneously taking place. So you go into that experience and then you relive it, as I said earlier, but being the outcome you want, where the child doesn't feel worthless and devalued and unappreciated and all those negative things. Instead, it feels loved and adored and needed and cherished. And it lives then in a state of feeling good about who it is, feeling valuable and wanted and needed and chosen. and appreciated as opposed to abandoned and all the other negative things. It is a new state of consciousness placed on an old experience that is really simultaneously happening. So you're changing it in the now. So then what you're doing then is kind of erasing it. So it's not there now, because now you live as the child who was loved, the child who was valued, the child who was needed. So now that you are a person who loves and values yourself and cherishes the very essence of who you are, because that is the experience you have now with that revision. And so you can do that with everything. If you have an SP that said things to you that were very hurtful or walked away or abandoned you, you can take that moment in time, that other dimension of you that's happening simultaneously right now, and revise it to be what you want it to be. That they're loving you, they're holding you, they're cherishing you, they're adoring you, they're telling you they're going to stay with you forever, they love you. And whatever it was, you change it from the negative to the positive. That's revising. So when you revise your life, you are forgiving the thing that was negative in your life. So that experience, either as a child and or as an SP or some work situation, whatever it is, that is what we call in our linear time the past, which is only another, as I said, simultaneously event taking place right now. But you're revising that negative thing into the positive. And when you do that, you're forgiving the pain of the past. You're forgiving whatever that person did against you. You're forgiving that. You're letting it go. Because you have recreated it. So it's naturally forgive. You're living your life in a new version of you because you revised the old experience into something that your heart's desiring, and now you're functioning from that. You're no longer functioning as the broken, damaged person or the victim. You are now functioning as the victorious person who is whole and healthy and vibrant, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, in every way. And so revision is so important, and he recommends at night you just go through your day, reverse your day, see like what happened, what would I have liked to have happened differently. Go back, take that moment in time and revise it to be the opposite of what occurred. And so that if somebody was nasty to you at work or said something unkind and it hurt your feelings, just revise that to the person was very kind and understanding and respectful to you. And I have done revision many, many times in my life. And one in particular, someone told me that they were just leaving my life. And that was it. I wasn't going to see them anymore. And that was very hurtful and painful for me. And so I remember after they left, I decided to revise it. So I just quietly lay down on my sofa, and because what had happened was every time I'd walk through the doorway where they said that this was in my house, I would get this awful sinking feeling. Even if I hadn't been thinking about it anymore, it was just like it brought back the pain. So I decided I'm not living like this anymore. In my house is going to be a place of peace, love, and joy, and where I am loved and respected and needed in my own world. So I lay down on my couch, or lie down on my couch, whatever, and I revised it. And it was like 5 minutes, and all of a sudden I just felt this most wonderful feeling of like, because I just reversed it from them saying they were leaving and never going to be around again, to that they were telling me the opposite, telling me that they were staying, and all those good things. And it didn't take long till I started feeling really wonderful. And then from that moment on, I could walk through that doorway without any negative feelings. I would remember the revision, not the negative thing that had happened. So anyway, 2 days later, and this was just a short period of time, 2 days later, the person was back, like they never left, and they never said a word as to why they were back and why they changed their mind. They were just there, and they've been there. So you can do this with your friends, your SP, your family members, anybody because everything is just pushed out. Somehow, I created that experience through a thought, an imaginal scene, something in my world, in my subconscious mind, it played out, and then I was able to change it. And so that's what I am suggesting that you do is that when things hurt us, we can revise them to be the opposite of what that hurt is. And we can live from the new revision, which is joy and feeling happy and healthy and whole and accepted and loved and valued, whatever it may be. Those positive emotions are elevated emotion, and live from that. And it's really hard to live from the end if you're still struggling with negative memories from the negative stuff that's taken place with you between the other people in your world or situations or your health. So revise those things so that you can move more easily into living from the end peacefully. Because what had happened was, after I revised that, and again, it only took me 5 minutes maybe until I started feeling incredible and it felt real. And that's when you know that you've achieved it. And from that moment on until the 2 days passed, I felt good inside. I wasn't devastated anymore. I wasn't hurt. I felt the joy of the revision, and I lived from that. So it made it easier for me to say my intentions, which were opposite of what the event was, to live from the end by letting go of the past, because I got rid of the past. Revision gets rid of your past, gets rid of the negative stuff, so that it's really easy to step into, you automatically move into living from the end, because you've already revised. The old stuff doesn't exist anymore. It's the new. So it's easy to live there. You've let the other stuff go. It's been forgiven. It's gone. And so that's my message for today. If you have any questions about that, simply book a session with me, and I will be more than happy to walk you through all the steps of revision and encourage you and support you and be there for you. So blessings.